All right, let's see here. There we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome. Happy Thursday. We're live on the YouTube. The YouTube woke up slowest, like it always does. I hope everyone is well. It's another day in quarantine. It is March. Is it the 19th now? Yeah, March 19th. Man, I am ready to go back to a certain amount of normalcy. Um, I'm ready to go back. I know we can't. I know it's still happening, but man, it's been crazy. It's been totally crazy. Um, so what's up? A lot of people have been tweeting about Tulsi Gabbard. I don't know why. Did she go surfing? Did she do did she have a speech? Did she do it? Why is everyone talking about Tulsi? Well, here's why. Tulsi Gabbard ends 2020 campaign and endorses Joe Biden. All right. Well, Hawaii Representative Tulsi Gabbard on Thursday ended her presidential campaign and endorsed former Vice President Joe Biden. By the way, Graham Elwood's going to come on the show later, and we're going to talk about this. He wanted to come on and talk about it. So he'll be on in about 15 minutes. So that'll be fun, and I'll have to maneuver that. But yeah, Graham's going to be coming on soon. So here's what she had to say. I know Vice President Biden and his wife, and I'm grateful to have called his son Beau, who also served in the National Guard, a friend, Gabbard said in a statement. Although I may not agree with the vice president on every issue, I know that he has a good heart and is motivated by his love for our country and the American people. And the article points out Gabbard had backed Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders in 2016. The Congresswoman said Tuesday's primary result, when Biden swept the races in Arizona, Florida, and Illinois, made it clear that voters had picked Biden to take on President Trump in the general election. Biden said he was grateful for Gabbard's support. Here's what Joe Biden had to say about it. Tulsi Gabbard has put her life on the line in service of this country and continues to serve with honor today, the former vice president said on Twitter. I'm grateful to have her support and look forward to working with her to restore honor and decency to the White House. That's what Joe Biden's going to do. By the way, yesterday, Joe Biden sided with Big Pharma over the American people for a future coronavirus vaccine. Joe Biden already sided with Big Pharma, making it harder to make the drug affordable, the vaccine affordable. They wanted to have a bill where the government could make sure that they could produce it and it was affordable, have like a lot of the generics or whatever you want to call it. Joe Biden was against that. He was for Big Pharma in the middle of a pandemic. Oh, and you know what else Joe Biden's campaign couldn't do in the middle of a pandemic? They couldn't get like a live stream together. They failed on that. So Tulsi Gabbard endorsed it, and I know a lot of people are pretty disappointed by this, and I'm one of them. And I'll be talking about this more with Graham. And this is pretty surprising. I was not expecting her to endorse Joe Biden. I'm pretty disappointed. And the main reason I'm disappointed, because, which by the way, I know a lot of people are, some people on Twitter were like, shaming me, like saying, oh, look at what your candidate did. Just for the record, I canvassed for and voted for Bernie. I voted for Bernie. And what I have said since day one, and still, I really do feel this way. I really wanted a Bernie Tulsi ticket. That's what I was hoping for, because I think that ticket could, crush Trump. I still do feel that way, by the way. What Tulsi and Bernie can both do, but Tulsi even more so, is they have the ability to appeal to people that are kind of outside of the box politically, to people that are kind of on the fence, and even to people on the right. Bernie has had some success with that. Tulsi has had a lot of success with that. She has her support base is very broad in the different types of political ideologies they bring to the table. She appeals to a lot of libertarians, some people on the right, and so forth. So a Bernie Tulsi ticket, what that would have done is it would have gotten two things. It would have gotten people who were on the fence about whether or not they were going to vote, and they would vote for a Bernie Tulsi ticket. And it would have gotten some of Trump's people. And that's what you need to beat Trump. And a Bernie Tulsi ticket would have accomplished that. So I'm disappointed that that's not going to happen now. Like, that's for sure. There's no chance of that happening now, which is a bummer. I was hoping for that. But now it's for sure not going to happen. And this endorsement, I think is, I'm not sure why exactly. I mean, I don't have the answer for that. I don't know. I mean, look, Tulsi Gabbard is a politician. All politicians are guilty until proven innocent, even the ones you like. And do I expect better from her? Yeah. Am I disappointed? Absolutely. And I don't know what she has to gain, really. Like I don't know what exactly she's gaining by endorsing Joe Biden at this point in time. Yes, I know that every single Democratic nominee said they would have support the eventual candidate. I know they all said that. Bernie said that too. But the primary is not over yet. You still have a choice. You can still endorse Bernie Sanders. You don't have to endorse Joe Biden. Or you can just not make an endorsement until the general. You can just wait and be like, okay, if Biden wins, then they'll get behind him. I know Bernie's going to get behind him too. And, I ain't voting for Joe Biden. I'm just not going to do it. This is why we need a new party. One of the many, many reasons why we need a new party. And one of the many, many reasons why the Democratic Party, it's a graveyard for progressivism. It's a graveyard for ideas. It's a graveyard for a new direction. It is all those things. It is all those things. And now we're seeing that. And Graham and I are going to be talking about this more. So I don't want to spend all of my thoughts. I don't want to spend all my thoughts on it. But yeah, and this is one of those things. I mean, look, I'm wearing a Joe Strummer t-shirt today because, look, I don't. Some people have asked me like, "Oh, am I hurt by this?" The answer is no, because the idea that a politician could ever hurt me is just ridiculous to me. I mean, that's absolutely. I mean, why would I give an elected official that kind of power over me? I mean, they could hurt me in terms of policies. They could do that. But in terms of hurting my feelings, let's make one thing clear. There's only two people on this planet that can hurt my feelings. My my wife. And I misspoke there. I've only been married a week, guys. But my wife and my mom, those are the only people on this planet that can hurt my feelings. That's it. A politician certainly never could. They could never hurt my feelings. So no, I'm not hurt by Tulsi's endorsement. I've met her twice. She was pleasant both times. That's all I have to say about that. Really, that's all I have to say. And I thought she was better than endorsing Joe Biden. I really did. I voted for Bernie over her for a number of reasons. There were a couple reasons. One of them being I think Medicare for All is a better plan than Single Payer Plus. I think it's better. Tulsi voted for the new NAFTA, which I thought was a very disappointing decision by her. Tulsi is more for UBI than a federal jobs guarantee. I actually favor both, but I think a federal jobs guarantee is better. So she's not for a jobs program. So that was disappointing to me. And the other reason was, when I worked on a banned facial recognition campaign, I reached out to 4 presidential campaigns. I reached out to Andrew Yang. I reached out to Marianne Williamson. I reached out to Tulsi Gabbard, and I reached out to Bernie Sanders. Marianne Williamson, Andrew Yang completely ignored me. I did not hear anything. Tulsi Gabbard's campaign got back to me, and they said she was too busy, which that's fine. I didn't take it personally. She's running a presidential campaign. Totally understandable. The Bernie campaign came out against facial recognition. Bernie was the only 2020 nominee to come out against facial recognition. Bernie's also the only 2020 nominee, to my knowledge, with a full, extensive, high-speed internet for all plan. So, I decided that Bernie was the best choice, and I voted for Bernie. I'm glad I still feel like he's the best choice. I thought that Tulsi was by far the second best choice. Still is, by the way. I mean, that's the sad part. I mean, politics is such a dirty game, but still, when all is said and done, I mean, if somebody said, hey, two people can be president, Liz Warren, Tulsi Gabbard, pick one, I would still pick Tulsi Gabbard over Liz Warren. But yeah, this is just, this is the game that it is. And that's why I got a Joe Strummer t-shirt on, which, by the way, song of the day, Death or Glory by The Clash. An elected official ain't going to lead the movement that we need. It's not going to happen. Stop thinking it's going to happen. Stop thinking one of them's going to start a new party. It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen that way. Bernie Sanders ain't going to do it. Tulsi Gabbard ain't going to do it. It ain't going to go down that way. It's going to take a movement. That's what it's going to take. A real one. Death or glory, just another story. Every dingy basement on every dingy street. Death or glory by The Clash. And by the way, if you're out there and your feelings are hurt, or you're just reprogram the way you think, really, because these are elected officials. They don't deserve your reverence. They don't deserve your trust. What you do is you make a judgment call, and you think, I think this person genuinely wants to do some good, and I'm going to support that person, or I don't think anyone wants to do any good. You make that judgment call. That's all there is to it. These people do not deserve to be put on any kind of pedestal. Bernie's not perfect. He's far from it. Bernie's made mistakes on the campaign trail. And he'll make more. And if he ends up losing the primary, yes, he will go over to Joe Biden. We all know that. Everyone said it. Everyone said whoever's the nominee, they'll get behind. Because Orange Man bad. They've all said that. Even if it's Joe Biden, the guy who was for the Iraq War, the guy who was a straight-up segregationist, it's going to be an old racist white guy versus an old racist white guy if it's Donald Trump and Joe Biden. That's what it's going to be. That's what we can expect. So, there you have it. Let me see when Graham's hopping in here. If your hero's an elected official, any elected official, get a new hero. Better yet, don't have heroes. You should never have heroes. That's such a dumb... Why would you have a hero? Why would you do that? Be your own hero. This world will be a lot better off if everyone just was their own hero. You should never have heroes. Ever. Under any circumstance. And I know some of you're really bummed out, and that's fine. You're allowed to be bummed out. But put it in perspective. Maybe I don't know what she has to gain politically by it, because the establishment has been so horrible to her. Same with Bernie Sanders. I don't know what Bernie Sanders has to gain, by saying, well, I'll support the eventual nominee. I don't know what he really has to gain by that. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, they are still members of the Democratic Party. So when you just strip it down to its simplest terms, like, well, I guess having someone from your own party, you feel like you can get things done easier. That's my only guess at this point. I don't know what else. Either one of them. I don't know what Tulsi Gabbard had to gain by endorsing Joe Biden. I don't know what went on, behind the scenes. But I don't know. So I want to do this quick before Graham hops on, because we're going to be talking about what else are we going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about Tulsi more, but I wanted to cover this first. Here, hold on. Let me pull it up. So this is from Matt Orfala. Matt Orfala shared this on Twitter yesterday. I meant to cover this yesterday, but somehow I got sidetracked. And yesterday was crazy because we had all those issues. But anyway, so check this out. This is from Matt Orfala. Facebook censoring pro-Sanders posts. All right, so here we go. Here's the screenshot. This is a post. Bernie Sanders is the safer bet. Tell your friends and family. The Democratic Party race with more than half the delegates still in play is now between Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden. So this was a post that this person made about Bernie Sanders. It's just a pro-Bernie Sanders post, and here's how Facebook flagged it. Your post goes against our community standards on spam. No one else can see your post. We have standards to prevent things like false advertising, fraud, and security breaches. All they did was post a pro-Bernie Sanders article. They posted an article on Facebook. By the way, you know how most people use Facebook now? They use it as a newsreader. That's how they use Facebook. They use it as a newsreader. And all this person did was share an article. That's all this person did. Now here is something that, now Matt tweets this later. Here's an article where they're trying to justify this. So see, what's happening is Facebook and all these companies, because of the pandemic, they're just using bots to flag content. So here's what happened. Facebook was also flagging stuff, anything about the coronavirus, they were apparently flagging. Now, what that has to do with Bernie Sanders, I don't know, but here's something else they're talking about. Mark Zuckerberg on Facebook spam bug. Hopefully we won't have that issue again anytime soon. If you were trying to post a news story on Facebook on Tuesday, chances were the platform might have stopped you. The social network had a bug in an anti-spam system that was incorrectly flagging users' posts as spam. Facebook's vice president of integrity, Guy Rosen, explained the issue over tweet Tuesday night. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg confirmed it on Wednesday in a call with media. Isn't that interesting that he tweeted it? He didn't post it on Facebook. He tweeted it. He's like, I want more people to see this. I better tweet this news about Facebook. I would post it on Facebook, but I don't even know. It might get flagged if I post it on Facebook. People might not see it. I better tweet it. All right, so Zuckerberg said that the incident on Tuesday was widespread and was not related to coronavirus links as previously reported, or its human moderators working from home. The issue has been fixed, Zuckerberg said, and Facebook is doing post-mortem. Hopefully we won't have that issue again anytime soon. Continuing on content moderation, the CEO added, I do think there will be some false positives, and we'll take down some content that was not supposed to be taken down. We try very hard not to do that, of course, but I don't think you should expect to see anything of the level of that bug yesterday. Yeah, we won't do that. We might, if you post a pro Bernie Sanders article, we might do that. We might screw you over there, but otherwise, we got you covered. This is why you don't let Silicon Valley billionaires decide what is and isn't free speech. They're not qualified to do that. Letting them decide what is and isn't free speech, that's like being like, hey, this person's going to teach a martial arts class. Why? Well, because they were a designer on Mortal Kombat. They were a programmer for the Mortal Kombat video game, so we're going to let them teach martial arts now. It makes the same amount of sense. Hey, they're a programmer for a platform where people post speech and ideas. We're going to let them decide what is and isn't free speech. This is why these things need to be deemed public utilities. Guys, we're going to switch gears because Graham Elwood is here. We're doing this live. Graham, what's up, buddy? You're on the air.
What's up, dude? I've got my Batman mug full of some delicious loose leaf green tea.
I got my Ramones mug full of coffee.
Nice. This is how Ron and I interact on the road. Coffee and tea.
Coffee and tea and discussions. Usually around this time of day too, because if it's like earlier, I'm usually still asleep and you're doing the driving. And then when I wake up, we talk about stuff. Guys, welcome the political vigilante Graham Elwood to the show. I talked about Tulsi some already, but I didn't talk about it extensively because I knew you wanted to talk about it. So I'll get your thoughts first, man. Tulsi endorses Joe Biden. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's great. Joe Biden is the one.
She's unifying the party.
You know, I'm thoroughly disappointed. And, you know, I was just texting with Jimmy about this. And, you know, first of all, this is sort of, I don't respect this decision from her at all. And I
don't either.
I don't at all. I mean, like you sit there, you can't say you're against regime change wars and vote for the guy or endorse the guy that helped put you in the Iraq war, Tulsi, and then helped take us go from 2 wars to 7. And also you can't, I don't know how you vote for a guy that clearly has dementia. Like I just, even if you think Joe Biden was the best vice president ever, and you think the Obama years were flawless, I don't know how you vote for a guy that clearly his memory is not all there. It's just not all there. So there's that. And what it also shows is, like, we've been kind of screaming about this for a while, is Bernie, if he started, like, she kept defending Bernie at every turn, and then Bernie would just kind of shun her. He wouldn't bring her into the fold. He wouldn't, like.
I wish he would have given a better olive branch, because again, I mean, I really wanted to see that ticket. I think that ticket would have crushed Trump. I mean, she appeals to the types of voters that you need to get to beat Trump. So, you know, that joint ticket would have been, I mean, that's the most disappointing part to me. I'm not, you know, I mean, politicians, I trust them as far as I can throw them.
Right.
You know, I don't know what she's gaining by this, really, because the establishment has been so horrible to her. Like, I don't know what she's getting out of it, but I don't know what goes on underneath the hood. I have no clue. So who knows? But, you know, now that ticket's for sure not going to happen, which I think is a bummer, because I think it would have beat Trump. And at the end of the day, of course, I want to beat Trump, but I don't want to beat Trump with a nicer talking Trump. And that's not going to beat Trump anyway.
I know it's really preposterous. So it's like they kept waiting, you know, the Tulsi camp kept waiting for Bernie, and he never did. And it really goes to the bigger issue of, and I had an interview with this woman, Jackie Salet, who's the president of independentvoter.org, who's been working in independent politics for, you know, 20 years or more. And she's just like, this notion that you can pull the Democratic Party to the left never works. It never works. Lefty progressives, we need to leave. You cannot. We need to leave this party, because even AOC is starting to buckle to Pelosi. I mean, like, and the thing that I've said, that you've said, I've never been like, this is my guy, or I'm a Tulsi tell it ride or die, or Bernie ride or die. Because it's at some point, especially after what happened Tuesday. Now, not for her to say, Tulsi to say, well, Tuesday is the writing's on the wall. Half the population didn't go out and vote because we're in a pandemic. Ohio moved its primary. The Democratic Party's been cheating left and right, and Bernie won't call that out. Bernie, so this party, I mean, it's a matter of time before Bernie goes, my friend Joe Biden is our best chance to beat Trump. And it's like, right now, what Trump is doing in the middle of this pandemic is he's actually offering things that Obama should have done during the financial crisis.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
It's unreal.
It's unbelievable. Trump is actually calling, which, by the way, I mean, it was, you know, people like Tulsi Gabbard were talking about an emergency UBI first. I mean, even Andrew Yang was mentioning it. And meanwhile, the establishment Democrats are talking about low interest loans for small businesses. And Trump actually wants to put money in people's hands. It's unbelievable. It's like upside down land, dude. It is so. And by the way, and now people like Trump is coming off smelling like a rose simply for calling for the most basic of things you would try to do during a pandemic like this.
Yeah, it's crazy. So Trump is suspending foreclosures and evictions and wants to
until the end of April. Yeah.
And wants to send direct payments to desperate Americans. Is like, and Pelosi is blocking UBI
Yep.
and emergency UBI. Like there's an article in I just saw in where is it in Common
Dreams. Common Dreams did a thing. How she's not. They're like.
And then the fucking dumb the vote any blue will do people are the neoliberals are they have their sense of history and their willingness to acknowledge it goes back about 9 minutes. Like they have the memory of a fucking goldfish.
It's all those mimosas, man. It's just,
they just want to go back to brunch and not dealt with anything. They don't care that Biden set the Middle East on fire with Obama. Had Obama done what Trump is saying he's going to do now, no, the Democrats would have never lost. I mean, if Obama would have come in and said this which we all said, we're like, the Republicans created this, Bush created this financial crisis in the banks, and had Obama come in and been the FDR that we wanted him to be, and given everybody, 6 million people would have stayed in their homes. I mean, I remember somebody, my accountant crunched the numbers and all the money that was given, the trillions of whatever, $1.4 trillion or whatever that was between Bush and Obama that was given to the banks. And he goes, Graham, you could have given every adult in America $70,000. And imagine if we all would have gotten $70,000, everyone would have stayed in their home and the money would have gotten to the banks eventually because everyone would have gotten their mortgage current. They would have paid off their car loans. They would have paid off their credit cards and still probably would have had some money left over. And the banks would have gotten their money. Everyone would have gotten money. And now Trump is going to do, Trump is out-lefting the Democratic Party. Donald Trump, who made fun of a Gold Star family, who is racist, xenophobic, is lefting the Democratic Party.
It just shows where our Overton window's at, dude. I mean, it just shows our Overton window is so ridiculous. But that's like the political spectrum bubble for anyone. I know that term's kind of weird, but yeah, I mean, it's so far to the right, and I remember I said this on a centrist show, and the host, who is a friend of mine, but rolled her eyes at me. And what I said was, I was just like, when is this going to stop? When is it going to stop? Is it going to get to the point where a Democrat looks like Donald Trump and a Republican is an actual Nazi? Is that where it's going to stop? By the way, guess what? We got a lot of Democrats that look like Donald Trump, and an actual neo-Nazi ran under the Republican ticket in Illinois recently. So we're there. It's gotten there. It's and this is what blew no matter who. This is where it gets you at the end of the day.
It's like, and when Bernie eventually endorses Biden, and I publicly say, nope, I won't. I know I'm going to take a ton of shit. I already am getting it from friends of mine on social media. I know I'm going to lose more friendships
because we're not voting for Biden.
Yeah, I know I will.
Really? Those are some fair weather friends.
They're dumbass friends like that. I've had people, friends of mine, comedians, well, I'm no longer friends with them, who are just like, oh yeah, you should have just paid your mortgage or whatever. That's when I talk about me personally losing my house. And I'm like, I lost money, as did millions of Americans, from a global recession. Like, show business shut down. I was making a lot of money doing Christmas parties. That all shut down in the December of 2008. I lost thousands of, everything was brutal. I lost money.
Like you would do a lot of stand-up at Christmas parties?
Yeah. Offices would hire me. This is when I was.
It was an actual corporate gig. It wasn't like.
Yeah, Christmas gig. Yeah, corporate gig.
Okay.
Every year for 15 years, I did. My December was filled with corporate parties.
Yeah.
When I did the game shows, I got even more of them. And I played a lot of casinos, and so casinos would have Christmas parties. And then this happened to me. Like, a guy had a business, they would see me headlining in a casino or something and say, and they would hire me. I'd make, in one night could make what you would make in a week or sometimes even a month.
Yeah.
And that all dried up. And, now this is going to be even worse. I mean, the stock market's nosediving. No one can pay any bills. We're going to have to infuse trillions of dollars in socialism, in democratic socialism.
I know. How about that?
And the Democrats are going to offer good, solid Reagan-era Republican solutions. And Trump, it's mystifying to me. And what's also mystifying is Bernie, this was his opportunity. And we talked about it Sunday on my show after the debate. He should have stepped up and said, see my social programs that I've been talking about, my democratic socialism. I'm not talking about Stalin. I'm talking about we need to take care. He missed his opportunity. It's like, I'm telling you, as soon as Bernie says, oh, Joe Biden, my friend, he's the best to beat Trump, my first video is going to be, is Bernie controlled opposition? Because there is a clear history, because the left, and the labor left, the real left, not the rainbow flag wrapped around the Goldman Sachs, not the fakey left, but
right.
The real labor progressive left is the biggest threat to the ruling class and always has been, right? So,
well, I think the biggest lesson here, and you know, you can't point your finger at one person and be like, oh, it's all there, like oh, it's all Bernie, it's all Tulsi. It's like, no, the Democratic Party is a graveyard for progressivism. It's a graveyard for a shift in the status quo. And it's just not going to happen that way. It just isn't. And you know what else? Like we need to abandon the idea that some elected official is going to lead a movement. That's never really happened in United States history. To my knowledge, I can't think of a time where that's happened. And it's not going to happen this time. You know, these people, oh, Bernie Sanders is going to start a new party. He's not. Tulsi Gabbard is going to start a new party. She's not.
AOC won't.
AOC won't. Ro Khanna won't. Like they're not. You know,
they are in the there. Once you have that D by your name, I don't care what your ethnicity, what your, I'm the first of this, I'm the first ever of this group to be a first ever, first. It's all just token identity politic scoreboards. And it will not change the power structure of these two corrupt systems. I mean, the old thing that Nader said, I'd actually just like a second party, you know, and it's never going to happen. And the left, who loves to mock, you know, conservative voters for voting against their own interest, actually go out of their way to vote against their own interests at every turn. And it's just, it's mystifying to me. And you know, what we've said, the progressives need to act the way the Tea Party did, in the sense that we're leaving. You don't.
Yeah,
We're leaving. Not you better do what we want, or okay, fine. Because I mean, nowhere else in any relationship, if you worked at a job where they kept mistreating you and paying you shitty money, and you kept threatening to quit, and you never did,
yeah,
or you were, they would this fucking guy's not going to quit, and he's like, oh, and the job market, there's no good jobs out there, so you better stay.
Where are you gonna go?
Where are you gonna go?
Where are you gonna go?
Where you go?
Where are you gonna go? You're in a terrible relationship. Well, look it out. Where else you gonna go? Who else you go? Well, you're right. I'm staying.
Yeah. And this is what people refuse to understand. And they're screaming like Trump's, everything they're saying about Trump. I heard this about George Bush. I heard this about Bob Dole when I voted third party in 1996. Mm-hmm. I voted for Clinton in 92, and I was like, fuck, this guy's a Republican. NAFTA, jailing black people. I don't like this guy at all.
The saxophone didn't sway you?
Nah, the saxophone.
Really?
And I was just like, no. And all my friends were like, Graham, if you vote, like, it's at every turn. I mean, the Democratic Party is the Washington Generals, that team that is paid to lose to the Globetrotters.
Yeah, totally.
Every night, the audience goes, oh my God, there was actually confetti in the bucket. Oh, no way. Who saw that coming?
They didn't actually shoot the foul shot, and the ref didn't do anything.
He put his ball under the thing, and they didn't know it. How did that happen?
We gotta elect different Washington Generals to play.
Yeah, it's like Krusty the Clown in The Simpsons, who like lost. He goes, I bet the Washington Generals, they were due. They were due. That's neoliberals, man. And so,
well, that's not, like, a lot of times when I see like a lot of political commentary and stuff like that, I'm like, man, it's almost like people are like, they don't realize that the professional wrestling match isn't real. Like they don't realize that it's fake, and you're just like this isn't real. Like none of this is real. They're arguing over Trump's tweets. It's not real. This is not real. The problem is there's a money party, there's a ruling class, and they're all in bed with each other, and we have a corporate takeover of our society, and that's what we're trying to break free of. That's what's really going on. All this like political theater between the R's and the D's. It isn't real. It's all fake.
Yeah, and all of us, we weren't naive that thinking, our elections are great and electoral politics were saved the day. We all kind of held a thin thread of hope, like, well, if we really overwhelm them,
right,
Bernie maybe could get the nomination, and then if he picks a real solid VP candidate like Tulsi or Nina, then he could beat Trump, and then all of these policies that we want, that we need to have, are going to happen. None of us were naive.
We have a better chance of them happening. I mean, it's like one of those things. Bernie, I mean, if he wins, he's still going to be fighting the entire Congress. He'll be fighting the entire media, the same thing he's doing now. So it's like if he can't look outside and see a big movement behind him, that presidency wouldn't be effective. So, I mean, it's one of those things. Like I've said before, if Bernie is our next president, I get to celebrate for 2 nights, then I put on a yellow vest. If Bernie's not our next president, I just put on the yellow vest immediately. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and that's what we really need to do here, because I mean, what this COVID-19 is showing is, do you see how dangerous capitalism is? Do you see how dangerous it is? We're all just this pandemic shows up and no one can work, no one can pay their bills, we have a for-profit healthcare system that can't handle it. I mean, we're a week or 2 away from having really spikes in numbers. Like really, like and
I thought only in socialism could the shelves be bare at a grocery store.
Oh, I know.
I thought that only happened in socialism.
I know, that's what they kept telling us. This is what no, this is capitalism. And when you raise a society to just be rugged individualists, like in Italy, I was told, the shelves weren't empty. They didn't hoard stuff because they were looking out for one another.
Yeah, well, they have a system in place now too. I mean, they have a system where it's like you have someone who's appointed the shopper for the family.
Yeah,
and I mean, yeah, like they're really, places that are kind of more communal in nature are definitely, definitely better equipped to handle this than the United States is. I mean, when you hear Donald Trump speak, I mean, the biggest takeaway is like, wow, we're really on our own.
Yeah. You're on your own, man. Good luck. And he's just like, we're bigger and better and we're the best and we'll come back. And when those doctors speak, I want to hear what they have to say, because they're actually using data and research and science. And they're telling us real-time information. And they just keep saying, we need to analyze more data. We need data from China. We need data from Italy. We need data from South Korea, because we're going to get on the other side of this. The numbers have come down in all those other countries, or maybe not Italy yet, but in South Korea and Japan and China, they've all started to come down. So we will come on the other side of this, but if we don't have a system in place, and this is again where Bernie dropped the ball at the debate, Joe's like, we need to deal with this now. And Bernie, this is why my first video when Bernie endorses Biden is Bernie controlled opposition, because it really feels like it's this was this opportunity. If he really was about this movement behind him and changing things and a revolution, he would have shown the world, and America especially, on Sunday, I'm the guy to lead us through this. These neoliberal policies, but he won't do it. So that's what, because there's going to be another pandemic. I mean, there's going to be, it takes 12 to 18 months to find a vaccine in general. I mean, some people say, oh, Israel's got one or whatever. Yeah, maybe, but, and I'm just repeating what research scientists say who work in this. So
you would repeat what the scientists say, Greg.
I know.
You commie hippie. You would repeat what the scientists are saying.
I know.
If I don't hear from Alex Jones, I don't know if it's true or not. That's what I know.
Yeah, somebody posted, like, when they get a vaccine for COVID-19, the anti-vaxxers need to stick to their guns and not take it. So
I actually wish they would take it. I wish they would just take the vaccine. That's what I want to see happen. But no, what was I going to say? I had a thought on that, and I kind of lost it. I think that, Joe Biden, by the way, I don't know if you saw this, he already sided with Big Pharma when it comes to the forthcoming corona vaccine. Like, he already sided with Big Pharma. Like, the government was trying to push through policy so that they would have a lot of control over the vaccine to make it available and mass produce it and make sure everyone gets it. Joe Biden against that. He's already working against people getting the vaccine. Already. We're about 12 to 18 months away. Already. Joe Biden showing where that you think that guy's going to handle a pandemic well?
I mean, literally, if this wasn't the perfect opportunity to go, this is why we absolutely need Medicare for all. We need free healthcare for everybody. We need and have a system in place to handle one of these pandemics when they happen again. Like, we need all of this ready to go in place. And this is why we need Medicare for all. This is why we got to get rid of a for-profit healthcare system. And people are going to, it's you get the government you deserve. So the neoliberals that think Joe Biden is somehow better than Trump, good. You're going to get a shitty healthcare system. You get the government that you deserve. And they're so dumb that they just keep blaming and they won't refuse to everyone was like, all these people like, I would have voted for Bernie if he was the nominee. And I'm like, great, I'm an independent. The Democratic Party doesn't own my vote. And explain to me how you just refuse to acknowledge the cheating. Bernie got the popular vote in the first 3 states. This is the first time in 64 years that someone has won.
Yeah.
All these first 3 states.
And then all these exit polls don't add up. And then all these policy polls, all these people are from Medicare for all. Were they all totally mixed up and thought that Biden was the guy for it? Biden, who you have on, all these people want Medicare for all. So they went and they voted for the guy who promised he would veto it.
I know it's mystical.
You sure?
It's really, ultimately it's like, getting back to topic, it's this just shows Tulsi doing this. I don't have faith or trust in her. I don't. And if Bernie tells me to back Joe Biden, which he said he would, and he's
well, they all said they would get behind the eventual nominee. So, once Bernie drops, there is no one else, if and when Bernie drops. So, yeah, of course he would get behind Joe Biden.
Yeah, and I just refused. Yeah, we're going to be the outliers, but if this pandemic subsides and there's a convention in Milwaukee, Movement for a People's Party is having a convention across the street. So I'm going to be at that convention because the Democratic Party, can go fuck itself. And I will spend the majority of my time on my show saying, get out of the Democratic Party.
Oh yeah, it's a shame that we're a couple years behind now because 2017 was the prime opportunity to really do that, and we were waiting for someone with the political acumen in the electoral politics world to say yes, and nobody did. Bernie said no, Tulsi said no, they all said no, and that's not going to change. So I don't know. But the problem is that we don't have kind of one unified movement. We don't have one unified voice. And our numbers are not that big. If we had one unified voice, one unified movement, then it would be easier for our numbers to grow. But dude, I don't have the fix for all that. None of us do. It's not a very easy solvable problem, but it's our only shot.
No, it's true. It's like there isn't. And what we said, it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago when, had we and you need big name people to come together and had all these people unified and Bernie and Tulsi. And even if you brought over like Jill Stein and Gary Johnson and unified a real independent party that dealt with labor and all these other things. I think you have to, and this is the thing going back to this interview I did with Jackie Salet from independentvoter.org was she goes, you got to build kind of coalitions that don't make a lot of sense, that seem weird at first. You got to get like libertarians and Greens and real big lefties, and you got to align them find the lines of common ground, labor, anti-intervention, stuff like that, and line up and build coalitions on that. And I think, a third party that needs to be really built on labor. You and I have talked about this. There's a lot about the Green Party we like, but there's also just some Green Party problems. some of it seems like a lot of the people within the Green Party, not Jill Stein, she's amazing, but other people seem like they're just like, they left the Democratic Party years ago. And so it's just this sort of token gesture. I'm a Green. I'm not going to really try to win. I know we can't win. So.
Well, I think if they, and it looks like Howie Hawkins is going to be the nominee. And I think that is a huge missed opportunity. I don't know if you have, if Bernie gets cheated again, which it's not looking great. So, if Bernie gets cheated again, Biden is the nominee, then you're going to have a whole new generation of people, and even more people than from 2016 who are looking around going, what is our answer here? What is our solution? And if the Green Party were to run somebody who was really against the grain, who wasn't going to repeat CIA talking points on Russia, especially knowing what their colleague Jill Stein went through and doing it anyway and refusing to apologize publicly to her. If they got somebody young and somebody, with a lot of ideas and somebody who could really mobilize and inspire people, they could really widen their tent. To me, it's like if Bernie gets cheated and Biden's the nominee and the Green Party runs Howie Hawkins, that's the equivalent of a comedian doing their open mic set for a TV appearance.
Yeah, the Russia stuff from Howie Hawkins is really like, I can't. And it's just, that's sort of the problem. He is just sort of typical of the problem of the Green Party is it's just that. It's just, he's just not as much of a neoliberal. And that's the problem. The Green Party just can't be this, thing at farmers markets, in hippie towns with their little booth. But they, at the end of the day, they still are, think Russia was bad and they don't want to really get after it. So I think, Movement for a People's Party, and the Movement for a People's Party, what it needs to do is go and get Greens and Libertarians.
That's the thing. Yeah. That's the thing. It's like you really, and when I was at the Convergence conference, I was inspired because there were, it was Nick Brana and all those people, but there were also, Jill Stein was there, Greens were there, Cornel West was there. The SA was there, the DSA was there, and people were talking and people were exchanging ideas. The Libertarians were there. And what a lot of us found out was like, we all have more in common than we realize. And we all want to see an end to the money party. And we want to see the end of the corporate takeover of our politics. And we're all we got to make that happen. So,
Yeah, we have a completely broken political system, an election system, and we are a right-wing country. We are a right-wing conservative country.
Yeah, I think even conservative. I would say we are kind of a far-right, borderline fascist. I think we're closest to fascist authoritarianism than anything else, as far as how far right we are.
Yeah, it's true. And Americans don't. They think they always talk about what the authoritarian countries like China. China does a lot of authoritarian stuff, but we refuse to acknowledge our own authoritarian stuff. When I went to China, I've been to China several times to do stand-up. When I went to Russia, I heard all these, and I would always say to people, I go, well, we spend the most money on surveillance. But I can go to any website I want. Really? Facebook just shut down after
They're censoring pro-Bernie articles. Facebook is censoring. They're saying, it was just a glitch. That's how they explain the coronavirus thing. Oh, it's just a glitch. I actually just covered that story before you came on here. I covered the story. Matt Orfala was sharing that screenshot. Someone shared a pro-Bernie article. It got flagged as spam. It's one of those things where we're letting Silicon Valley decide. What I said, it's the equivalent of being like, hey, this person's going to teach a martial arts class now. Why? Because they were a programmer for Mortal Kombat. They're gonna teach karate. Just like, this person's going to decide what is and isn't free speech. Why? Well, because they're a programmer at Facebook, and that's where people post ideas. So they know what is and isn't free speech now. They're qualified to do that.
Mortal Kombat's pretty sick, though. You know what I mean?
Dude, that not a bash against Mortal Kombat. It's just I'm just saying, in real martial arts, you can't throw a lightning ball at somebody. So I don't know if now, is there somebody who is a programmer by day and also a martial artist by night? That's very possible, but that's not guaranteed, is what I'm saying.
Right.
It's one does not scratch the other's back.
Yeah, and I'd love to see somebody develop a lightning ball move. I'd love to be able to see that. Like, I'd love to be able to see it. Well, dude, I'm gonna roll. I know you got more.
Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. It's nice to ECU, because we're all in bunkers, and it's pretty. I'm getting, dude. I will say this. I realize I'm not as much of an introvert as I thought I was, because I'm really ready to just, and I get it. I mean, we're all doing what we have to do. I'm not trying to be like, but I miss the world. I really do.
It's a fair, I live alone, and I need my space and my privacy. And I'm really seeing, like, I didn't realize what, like, shaking hands and hugging people on a daily basis meant.
Dude, I mean, well, there's all kinds of studies about that. Like, it really, like, if you don't get to hug people regularly, you're just, you can get a cat.
Yeah,
I got one of those. I got, my wife's here, my cat's here. That does help. I mean, it really does help.
I can imagine. I live alone, and it's like all of a sudden doing shows and all these other, like, groups I'm a part of that I hang out with, and these people that I can't. We're, some of these things we're doing phone meetings and stuff, which is great to stay connected. But man, it's really I'm really noticing it, and I'm really, like, like, I'm doing yoga, I'm going on bike rides when the weather's nice. It's supposed to be nice this weekend. I'm going to try to get out and surf with a buddy. But man, it is like, it is hard. I bet you a lot of people are going to, like, fall in love and get in steady relationships after this thing fucking ends.
Right.
It's really like, man, I don't want to go through another apocalyptic scenario alone in my apartment with, just nothing but Batman stuff.
Well, do you think, like, at the end of this, we can, do you think we'll come out of this, like, a little more kind of like, hey, we're all in this together, and let's start behaving like a community a little more? I mean, do you think, because like I was talking to my wife about this, and she's like, I don't think humanity will ever quite be the same after this, like, as we know it. And I think she's right. But I'm thinking, yeah, but maybe it could be a positive turn. At least I got to hold on to that hope. Do you think there's a chance at that?
I do. I hope so. I think everyone's really realizing, we live in this virtual world, and everyone's on their phones, and everyone's realizing, man, we actually need interpersonal contact. We really need it. And not going, I mean, bars are closed, sporting events, like all these things that are sort of like, I don't drink, I don't hang out in bars, but like, going to sporting events is a thing I love doing. Live music is a thing I love going to. Just taking a break from all the politics and just watching sports highlights. And I can't, there's none of that. So it's like, the Tom Brady going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't really watch football anymore. I was like, oh shit, and called my buddy, and we had to talk about, is he going to win, or what's Belichick, and just to have a dumb sport talk conversation.
Right.
Versus this, like, the world's ending. So I gotta believe, I agree with you and Caitlin that there are going to be, this has never happened before. The last time a pandemic like this happened, we weren't this global connected electric society.
Right.
Where you sent a letter and it took 3 weeks. There was no phones. There was none of that stuff. So everyone was a little community, and the whole world was affected by the Spanish flu, but not the way we are now. So I'm really hoping, people realize how interconnected we are. Americans are definitely realizing, boy, we need social programs. We need free healthcare. We need to stop giving banks money. So I'm hoping that people realize how much we do need each other, how much we are interconnected, because there's going to be more of these, and many of them are going to have more of even a climate change aspect to them. Look what happened in Australia. Look that was the worst we've ever seen. Fire tornadoes. We're getting a bunch of rain here in California. If we have a dry summer and a dry fall, we're going to have a horrific fire season and a pandemic and a global financial crisis. Like we're going to have to really face all of the collapses of this capitalist, globalized, neoliberal, money-first society. And maybe it'll be the thing that wakes everybody up. I don't know. I mean, because if not,
yeah, I mean, no, I'm with you, man. I mean, I don't think it's going to be like just a huge, complete cultural shift. I mean, I would love it if that was the case, but I guess I can't be that optimistic. But what I am hoping for is that it nudges us into a much better direction, that it nudges us where it's like, the idea of everybody having healthcare where other countries figured this out so long ago, it's time. And I mean, I think it already is doing that. The idea that we need to put humans first, that we need to kind of have, like, it shouldn't just be centered on profit. I mean, and you still see the headlines where it's like, it's going to be about 1 trillion to help people. No one cares. No one cares about that. They want to know what you're going to do to help people through this thing. They're worried about their families. They're worried about their friends. They're worried about society. They want to live and participate in society. And you know what? No matter how rich you are, if society's shut down, it's shut down for you too. And I think that, like, people are going to start to see, it shouldn't be profit above all else. We should focus our economies on giving a quality of life to people first and foremost. And then, of course, we can have businesses, we can have all that stuff. That's fine. We can have markets. That's fine. But, workers need to be treated right so that when something happens, they're not, facing the worst. We need to make sure everyone can go to a doctor because that's good for all of society. When a pandemic breaks out and part of your populace can't go to a frickin' doctor, that hurts everybody. So, that's what I'm hoping for.
No, you're right, because everyone's seeing how interconnected we are. I mean, Amazon just hired 100,000 new part-time employees. They're paying them $17 an hour. Some billionaires are like paying their employee. Mark Cuban said he's paying his staff and all the people that work at the arena where the Mavericks play. He's going to be paying them. We should not be calling any of these billionaires heroes for doing the right thing, no. But they're all fucking illegal pieces of shit. But what we're seeing, everyone's going, wow, when everything's shut down, we are all connected. I can't just go through this world alone and make mine, and I got mine. I can't do that. Like, and the hoarding, people are going, I was at the grocery store by me 2 days ago, and there was only 2 things of almond milk left, right? And I said, and he goes, those are the only 2 left. I go, I'm going to just take 1 because someone else might need this. And he goes, yeah, man. I go, they were doing it in Italy. He goes, we need to do this everywhere. We got to help. He's at the store. So he saw people come in and push and shove and hoard. And he's just like, I have an elderly couple that lives in my building. And I just say hi to them in the hallways. I'm not that close to them. But yesterday I said, hey, do you guys need anything? Are you good? He's like, no, we went to the store. My grandson's here, but thanks for asking. And like, everyone needs to do that. And in that, everyone's going to realize, because if the outbreak, if America still spikes, all of our hospital beds are going to be taken up. And so people are going to have to be like, I just know if I get this, I'm healthy. And the doctor said, if you just have some of the symptoms, just stay home and go and ride it out, get yourself healthy the way you would with a cold. If you can't breathe and it's really severe, then I'll go to the doctor. But part of it's like, if I get sick and I'm healthy and I can just, get over it the way I would a regular cold or flu, it's bad for society if I go to the hospital because I'm taking up a doctor and a bed for the elderly person or the person with the pre-existing immunocompromised system or anything. So we all have to think in those terms, and maybe we'll come out of it a better society. I hope so, because America especially is pretty selfish, pretty me. Make that money. We're bred to be that. We're taught that. And I'm hoping, especially the young people who, many of whom voted for Bernie Sanders, many of whom are openly socialist or democratically socialist. And they're just like, Jesus, capitalism blows. And I don't want to be a part of this anymore. I hope because it's their society in the future. And they're the ones that are going to have to live in an apocalyptic nightmare if we don't fix climate collapse. And this is just a bad flu and it's bad, and but we'll get through it. What if there's one that's just like 20% of the people who get it it's lethal? What if that pops off? And it can. So we need to really work together and figure this out and think about the we rather than the me. And hopefully that's what this will do.
Amen, man. Well, right on. Well, Graham, we'll be in communication, man, because we got a lot of stuff to figure out. Yep. I'll be talking to you.
Yeah, give me a call later. I got some ideas of some stuff to do. So
all right, cool.
So thanks everybody, and shave your knuckles for justice.
You can find Graham at youtube.com/Graham Elwood, the political vigilante. And you know us. We'll be collaborating often and all the time. Graham, thanks for stopping by, man.
Thanks, brother.
Bye, buddy.
See you and Caitlin.
Will do. Peace.
Later.
All right. So there you go. Graham and I talked about the world. And I feel like we fixed everything. I think everything's fine now. There you have it. You're welcome. No, let me see what you guys are saying, and then we're gonna dismount for a bit here. Yeah, I hope everybody is staying safe and is doing well. And let me see. Let's see. Martin Lazo, what's up? Tulsi is a female person of color, vice president? ? I doubt it. I mean, I don't know, man. I can't imagine Joe Biden picking her. I just can't see that. I don't know what she really gained politically by endorsing Joe Biden. But, I guess we'll see. I doubt he will pick her as VP. I could not imagine that happening. Jason, what's up, buddy? I'm refunding from both Tulsi and Bernie over this. I need COVID money, not pathetically weak politicians who bend the knee like idiots any chance they get. Again, politicians are politicians. They're going to do what they're going to do. And, they're not going to lead a movement. They're going to bend the knee to the movement. That's what happens in social movements. It's not politicians don't lead them. Politicians bend the knee to them. So that's just the world we're living in. Phil, what's up, buddy? Phil, Kuda Phil here. Good to see you. Tulsi backing Biden makes me wonder what happened behind closed doors. Yeah, I feel ya. WTF. Also, last night on the Jimmy Dore show, I said that Obama should give those unused soft sole shoes to Trump. That's funny. I like that. Right on. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Phil. Guys, if you got a little bit extra and you're financially sound, patreon.com/Ron Placone. For Give What You Can, Love You, you get all kinds of exclusive content. You get a bunch of podcasts. You get a bunch of writings. You get a bunch of, you get my album for download in its entirety. And that's all for Give What You Can level. The suggested tier is $5. But no matter what you give, whether it's more than that or less than that, you get all the same stuff. A lot of content to go through while you're in quarantine. So patreon.com/Ron Placone. And when this is all over, I really hope to start breaking ground on those municipal internet mini documentaries that I've been trying to make. I got a couple other ideas for some mini documentaries too. I'm really looking to Greg Brown on. Wow, Greg Brown. That's what I just said. I'm trying to Greg Brown. That's a new thing that I do. It's like breaking ground, but my way of doing it. I Greg Brown. What are you going to do? Thanks to Graham Elwood for hanging out. Raphael, let me see if I can get to what you said here. I can't. Oh, love and support from Belgium. Thank you very much, Raphael. And I hope to see you potentially in 2021. I'm going to try to tour Europe some in 2021. In particular, I'm looking to go to England and Scotland and probably Ireland. But, I want to see where else I can go. And Belgium is on the warm pile, Raphael. So if you're hip to the comedy scene in Belgium, drop me an email and let me know. I have a good friend who's a Belgian comedian, so I was going to talk to him. I don't know how big the English-speaking scene is over there, but I was going to look into it. So thank you for that love and support from Belgium. And drop me an email if you would like about potentially coming to Belgium. Because when this is all over and next year, I definitely, first of all, I hope to do something about all of our tour dates this year. Anything we need to reschedule, we will. We are working on figuring it out. We're taking it one day at a time, just like everyone else. I don't know what's going to happen. None of us do. But we're certainly going to try to make good on all of our tour dates. We're already trying to reschedule Florida. And we're trying to reschedule whatever else we might need to reschedule in the future. Right now, those are the only things that have been totally canceled, but we're taking it one step at a time. Guys, stay safe out there. Be well. I'll be coming back at you again very soon because this is what we got right now. You know the drill in the meantime. Lucy says meow. I say peace. Peace.